I am Eon, and it's time to look at the June 2025 model releases. This is Thursday, June 26, 2025, as I record this, and again, these are models. These are busts, dioramas, figurines, or things that just don't quite fit into fantasy or sci-fi, and a lot of times they actually do. First up, we have 3D Gob. 3D Gob is putting out Flexi Giraffes this month, Flexi Guinea Pigs, and Dumbo Octopus. Animal Den Miniatures is focusing on Yellowstone this month. We have a grizzly chasing a Rocky Mountain elk, a grizzly family, Rocky Mountain elk bugle, as in it's calling out, the Rocky Mountain elk cow. I guess she hears that bugle and she's like, hey, listen to him. And some gray wolves now hunting the Rocky Mountain elk cow because she's trying to find the one bugling. And she looks pretty tired. She must have got away. She'll lay down for a little while. Gray wolf. Howling and presenting. And then we have the Greater Sandhill Cranes by themselves or in the dance. Really cool pictures, dioramas that you could do here. There's also a couple of busts, one of the Rocky Mountain elk and one of the gray wolf. Artisan Guild has a tier where you can get busts. So for the Lizardmen of Falgore Swamp, these are what the busts are for this month. Lizardmen, Zarkan Bloodjaw, Drolse the Mire Speaker, and Hiskra the Lizardman pinup, plus an alternate version apparently, and there is a throwback of an Umbrelk Hive Colossus. Belksassar 3D Print has a model that is available in 32mm but also 75mm scale, which is ideal probably for painting. I wouldn't really know, I've not practiced in a while. Need to get on that. Bendy Buddies is doing June Cute Dinosaur Bundle. We have here 0209, the Ankylosaurus Cute Dino, and he is articulated. Here we have 0210, the Oviraptor Cute Dino, and 0211, the Spinosaurus Cute Dino. So as Jurassic Park has a new movie coming out this summer, a great time to pick these up. Release number 2 is Samus in the Aaron Zero suit for Metroid. I do believe we have a new Metroid game coming out now that the Switch 2 is out. We also have Luigi's Mansion King Boo. For June, we have the Turtle, Giraffe, and Sloth as pots. So here is the turtle. Here is the giraffe. And here is the sloth. I suppose that's a hanging pot, isn't it? The 5th release has been Thor Classic in 2 different versions, either with the helmet or without. June, we also have Groot in kids' fashion attire. I'm actually pretty excited about this. So that's the back of it over on the right, but a Minecraft item set, and there are magnets built into the frame that you can print, so once you have the frame, you can change out what's in your frame. So there's the diamond sword frame, the diamond hoe frame, the diamond, and a heart. Hope they add on to that. We also have V from Arcane League of Legends. Okarun, Dan Turbo Granny. I have not watched that anime. But you notice she does have glasses on. Better to see you with, I suppose. We have Devil Cat sofa-style storage and display with drawers. So perhaps a functional piece to some extent. Jiraiya Naruto Chibi. and Delta the Eminence in Shadow Chibi form. Bestiarum Miniatures, their models I always hesitate to put here because they're not exactly fantasy, they're not exactly sci-fi, they're kind of what I would call Lovecraftian. So I thought it would be worth putting some of these over here. So here's the Anatomists, there's the Flayed General, the Horospex, and the Skin-Stalker. But there's also other models there if you want to go check them out. They're in my fantasy video. Bulkamancer has come out with some interesting models. I'm very interested in this Goddess-Favored Wizard by Victoria. It's just a clean-looking model. I'm really impressed with it, along with this winged cat critter on the shoulder. Here we have Gunslinger Lady by Alex Gray. And all the pieces that she will come in, that you'll put together to put her together. Comet Lord Miniatures has Jericho Bloodhunter. He comes either with a hood or without, and a pretty big bow. I'm impressed that he's even able to hold on to that thing. Or is that a ballista? It might be a ballista. Valeria, the Dampier Kinslayer. That's the second time I've heard that word, I think. Sorry, just reminds me of a conversation I had the other day. I digress. The Numb Dreadborn. He might be accused of being all hands. And then the Mors Ultima, or the Ultimate Death, I would say. This is the Grim Reaper on steroids. Wow. Critterverse is new to my videos, I do believe. I don't think I've ever featured them before. They have these 5 models here. Zippy the Numbat, Wisp the Margay, Dazzle the Golden Mole, Bounce the Tree Kangaroo, and Muzzle the Aardwolf. Dino and Dog. I was thinking about them yesterday. I was in Aldi and I saw somebody buying Dino and Dragon gummies. And I was like, that is perfect for Dino and Dog. Aussie Dinosaur Minmi. I'm not sure if that's exactly the proper name, but that seems to be what Dino and Dog is calling it. This is an Elasmosaurus, a mother and calf. And apparently this is an exclusive on Tribes. Here we have a Monolophosaurus. And there's a picture of everything you're getting this month. So a couple of busts and heads, as well as a couple other things. For the dragon, or for the fantasy tier, I forget what they call it. This is the Amaranth Dragon. And here's the Minmi and a Monolophosaurus again. Fate's End is in my fantasy video, but I feel like it fits well here too. You see the snail carrying the entire town on its back. You have a bookmark of a Lunamoth, Ducky Toy Barbarian Ducky, Wall Shelf Lunamoth, treasure chest with the Scarab Relic, folding dice tower for the Lunamoth, a wall shelf for the Lunamoth, and Sir Slimelot, who's a little mini buddy. And up in the top left corner, I believe that is the Snailville Moving Services Dice Tower. It's not shown in that picture. Flexi Town has Flexi Buzz Lightyear. So there's the render or preview of it on the left and an actual print of it on the right. I do like the color swatch as well to show you these are all the colors you're going to need if you want to print it and have it print correctly. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 colors. Flexi Monkey D. Luffy from One Piece, 2 versions. He also is smiling as well. Here we have a Flexi Wreck-It Ralph. Flexi Frankenstein. Go ahead and start preparing for Halloween now. It'll be here before you know it. And a Flexi Joe Fixit, the Grey Hulk. It was interesting, I thought, here. They didn't have a preview image, but they did have this one that showed what the back of these look like. Gaz Minis is kind of always all over the place. Fantasy sci-fi is what I mean by that. So let's take a look at what you get for June. We have Aurelia, the Hair Mage. She comes in a few different versions, but this is what they've shared with us. Here's Lola, the Dessert Waitress. The dessert itself is an interesting model. Here's an Oni Gunslinger, Red Shot. Here's a 10-unit Goblin Tribe. They come in a couple of variants as well. And I believe they have a $1 tier, so I think if you get the $1 tier, this is the model you'll be getting, which is Telraka. Telraka, however you want to emphasize it, I suppose. Irnkman's Minis has put out an Onion Knight and Sesshomaru. I know I butchered that. Here's Arcanemanon, human form, and not. Arukanamon. I believe this is from Digimon. Here we have Ruby from Ruby, and Ramu, Warlord exclusive, which you always notice when they're in red. When they're in red, that's a Warlord tier exclusive. This is a Flan and a mouse or moose, and those are phantoms. Here is Mummy Ganon and Seraphimon. Akira, again a Warlord exclusive because it's in red, and an Egg Pawn. I believe that is from Sonic. It's got to be, right? Dr. Robotnik. Mighty Makers is putting out Flexi Golden Dragon. Miniatures of Madness this month has a nice little diorama. They usually have a diorama background and a miniature. Usually the miniature comes in a couple of different forms. Here they're going for the girls, meaning that it's a dude, so he has no shirt on. And in addition, you can also see that you get the background, you get the swords, and all the little backdrop stuff. He also comes with a bust and a cool base that you can base him on. Nerikson never ceases to disappoint, never ceases to amaze. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Apologies, Nerikson. The Plague Doctor, always extremely detailed models. The stitching on the bags are simply amazing. You would think you would just be like, I'm not doing anything else in leather, but I mean the ripping on the legging, it's multiple layers to the fabric. My Identity. Very interesting model. I would imagine it'd be kind of difficult to paint because where do you start the flesh tones and where do you end the metal tones? I don't know. The Stone Giant. Just a very nice model. Again, I say that very often, but I remain impressed. And a couple of busts, or a bust rather, excuse me, but a couple of views of that bust as well. I did not write down what name it was. I apologize. Novac Dawn is relatively new to my videos, I think. Here's Mornell, the Thornsong Sovereign. So just a single model here, but a little bit more detailed, I would say, than others. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Papal 3D has their diorama, and I probably should have included that as well, but I wanted to be sure I put in Nessia, because these diorama pieces like this, to me, are really what this video is all about. This is their monthly Mythic model. Parasite Collectibles also has here this warrior, Valdir, Protector of Iserheim. Comes in 3 different sizes and also mounted on horse, again in 3 different sizes. So however, if you want to print it off as a miniature or if you want to print it off as more of a display piece, you're able to do that. He also comes in a bust as well with about two sizes there. RNE Studio releases different things in different places and still confuses me after many trials and many joinings and rejoinings of the tribe there. There is the anime series, volume 24, and I could not tell you what each of those are. Almost remind me of characters from Ruby. There's some things from Brain Rots, and RNA Studio did post a video explaining where these come from. I have seen it, I've heard it, I still don't understand it, nor do I want to understand it. I suppose that just means I'm getting older, correct? Splash Mountain Disney, now and kind of in the past, but here is the Brer Bear and Brer Fox and Brer Rabbit, which is a story I don't think most of our children know these days. And if you don't know these stories, you should definitely look them up. They're great stories to be aware of. They're good life lessons. And then for the champion tier, we have here these heroes. I don't know all of these offhand. Obviously the Hulk and Thor and Loki, and I forget the queen's name. But there you go. For their tribe, they have a release as well. These are all, I think, Zulu warriors, if I remember correctly. I did not put every single one of them here, but I did put several so you get a good view of these. These are nice looking models too. Sassy Cat 3D, I think is relatively new to my videos too. Here we see the Forest Spirit Linked. I think Linked refers to the way the model is made. Here we have a Forest Treehouse and Dice Tower. And a hand for scale. Here we have Thalrissa Wing Joint add-ons. So I guess if you want a 2 or 3-headed dragon, you can have that. There's a Forest Spirit Build-A-Dragon, or BAD. Forest Spirit Baby. The 3MFs are always really cool. If anybody doesn't know what those are, those usually, I was introduced to them through Bamboo Lab for the multicolor stuff, and that's really what that is. From my perspective, I may be completely misunderstanding. Please correct me in the comments below if necessary. But and Goat Spirit. So if you have an AMS or a way of printing these off, I think the 3MFs are really nice. In addition, you can also save multiple plates, and I don't know, I may be misconstruing some of the things the way my software is set up, but I'm impressed. I'm just so used to STLs, but Sculptooner has given us basically this render of their Labors of Diomedes. There's a lot going on here. I'd like to see more of the actual model, but impressive nonetheless. SolGood Studios is in my normal fantasy video, of course, but here with this Hypnotist Beholder, or Beholder Hypnotist, I did want to include it because they typically do one model and usually as a bust as well. So again, fits well for this type of video. Stormborn Collectibles has Death Hounds for June. I feel like they should be guarding a very tall building in New York. Toonz Factory has a Flexi Komodo dragon. So here are the renders of this model, and here are some actual prints of said model. Pretty well done. Here's a couple other prints of it, so you don't have to print it in a color if you want, or even paint it. You can leave it as a multicolor if you want. Here we have some renders of the Flexi Cardinal Bird, my state's state bird, and for what it's worth, I think it's the most popular state bird in the United States. And here are some prints of it as well. I always like seeing cardinals. I do wish they'd stop flying in front of my car, though, because I think they're daredevils. They've gotten really bad this year. Here we have a Flexi Kangaroo. Couple of different versions, either with a pouch, without a pouch, with boxing gloves, without boxing gloves. Trident Studios is continuing their foray into the Marvel Universe. Here we have Star-Lord from Rivals. Cosmic Ghost Rider. Korg. Magic from Rivals. Magneto. Sauron. I kind of want to make a I see you, but that's a different Sauron, isn't it? Slapstick. Black Widow from Rivals. Now, Tridimension Prints is related to Toonz Factory, so they do very similar. They'll do renders and then they'll do prints. And I always like looking at these. This is a Flexi raccoon that comes with a trash can. Gotta love this. So here's the Flexi raccoon, and here's what he looks like actually printed. And this looks like it has been printed as a multicolor print. Black, white, gray, yellow. 4 colors, and you've got it. And you gotta love that the trash can is kind of like maybe the new Dragon Egg. Flexi Bulldog. And here it is printed. I have to love that it says print in place with no supports. And a preview of a Flexi Red-Eyed Tree Frog that must be coming this month as well. Vermillion Miniatures. I have this in the sci-fi video. I believe these are inspired by Fallout. But again, these just kind of, I like having them in here because they often do very neutral models. So I wanted to include them there. And believe it or not, our last creator that we'll look at is VS3D or Versus 3D, I'm not sure. Here is the preview of what all they anticipated for the month of June. Let's look at the actual renders of the models coming out. So we have the Scorpion King. He also comes in a bonus model as well, with a couple of weapon options. Here we have, I believe she's a ballerina, or from the movie Ballerina. She comes with a couple of poses as well. Now I'm curious how exactly the tattoos work with her. Like, are they part of the model, or I imagine not, but maybe. Probably had to be painted on afterwards. Here we have the Vampire, and I think I goofed up here and did not finish this. Sorry. San Andreas, I forget the character's name. Always kind of cool to see the little game there. And then the most recent addition is the Man-Bat from Batman the Animated Series. Well, that is my final video of the June review number ones. If we can, we'll update with a review number 2 really quickly before July hits. We'll see about that. But if it's so, it'll be a really short video. Thanks for watching. I do have a post on my YouTube channel explaining why this is so late in the month, and I do apologize for that. Hopefully we can catch things up as we get into a new normal for me and everything as we go through the summer. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.